Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Subcultured TV. My name is Tyler,
My name's Jess.
I'm Chris.
and today we have a pretty fun episode. Let's get into it. So for today, I want to talk about our all-time favorite shonens. We're each going to give our top three and discuss them a little bit more.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So I'll start it off. I think without any doubt in my mind, this one always reaches the top of my list. I always don't know whether or not I want to put in my top anime of all time, but it might well be there just for all the memories. Naruto. Now, I mean Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I'm even someone who's crazy enough to like the movies, like Blood Prison and stuff like that, even though I know they're not canon.
Boruto too?
No.
What's Boruto?
That didn't happen. It's all
it was all a dream. Yeah. It never happened.
It's all a dream. For any Boruto lovers out there, I'm sorry.
Stop watching.
What is Boruto?
Goodness.
No, I'm just kidding.
What is Naruto? You mean Boruto's dad?
Oh.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I just couldn't get into Boruto. I was really excited for it when I saw Mitsuki. You know, because I'm like, yes,
Dude,
he's a
Mitsuki
cool
looks
looking
dope.
character. He has Sage mode already. Sarada had a pretty cool backstory that they had with. And then it just kind of fell flat. They completely changed up some movie when it came time for the to show the movie portion in the show, which didn't make any sense. They changed up like the plot. Oh my goodness, Dragon Knight, you're having problems there. But yeah, I just couldn't get into Boruto, especially the like later seasons. I would always just kind of drop in and watch some. And what just kind of turned me away from it completely was in one of the newer episodes, it's literally just Squid Games. I kid you not. It's Squid Games.
What do you mean?
There's like a puppet master. I don't know if he's a puppet master. He's just like this unkillable, like Saw-esque being that gets all these different people from like around the different villages, puts them in a room that they can't escape, and they have to do different games in order to be the last person to survive. And it's literally just Squid Games.
I've never watched Boruto, but I have seen clips. And is this the same arc in which we see dinosaurs?
No, that one comes later.
Oh.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, that was completely wrong. They on that same one where they had dinosaurs, they also
Gave Sasuke his arm back.
They gave Sasuke his arm back.
Yeah,
and
that
it was in
cool.
one scene because they didn't really remember to take that out, which is crazy because you're only drawing him without an arm the entire time.
Or are they just using old what are they called? Like recycled
Recycled characters?
No, when they reanimate old
Movies?
like panel I guess the panels you can reuse them, which is why like you see it in Disney what they do.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know?
I have seen that.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they did. They took old Sasuke stuff. They're like, I don't want to.
I wish it was old
No,
Sasuke.
because Sasuke was never an adult with both arms, was he?
Yeah, well, adult right with during
With the long hair.
Yeah, they gave him the long hair arc, so it was just a complete mistake.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah.
Well, I tried giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Nope.
Oh well.
But anyways, going back to it, has to be Naruto for me. Now, I prefer Shippuden over the original series. That being said, the original series is... I watched anime before Naruto, but I would say that is like what pushed me to actually search out other anime, because I didn't know I was watching anime before Naruto. Like,
Same.
Like I watched like
Yeah.
Speed Racer or like Monster Ranchers, and I didn't realize that was an anime just because I didn't realize like no other people watched that,
Yeah.
or not as many people in the US watched that. But like Naruto, like there was no way around it. Like that was an anime. So like that got me into both anime and then manga. It's like probably one of the only manga I've really read or really wanted to read. So I really enjoyed both Shippuden and the original series. Everything from the power scaling to minus some nerfs, but I enjoyed everything about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an OG, I think Naruto, unless you're a new anime watcher, it plays a large role in most people,
Yeah.
That watch anime for a long time, like their lives.
Well, yeah. I mean, how many times? I'm a little older than you guys, But like, how many times?
Just a little.
Like, because I know, like, when I was in school, because see, Naruto first appeared on Toonami, I think like 2000. So I was like 10. So like, there was kids in my grade school that would try to, do different hand signs to unlock.
Yep.
Did they do the running too?
Yeah, do 100%.
Everyone's done it.
I've done it.
Yeah,
You have?
Yeah, when I was
Have you not?
that.
The Naruto running? No
Yeah.
way.
I tried it in a dodgeball. Didn't work.
Wow. Did you get bullied for it?
No.
Oh man, you're lucky you didn't go to school with me.
Did you get bullied
Oh
for
my
it?
God.
I mean, why would you bully someone for running faster?
Yeah, obviously.
How could I
Yeah.
even catch him, right?
Exactly.
I unlocked the body flicker. Okay.
Ooh,
Oh,
my goodness.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, Naruto is one of those animes where it inspired so much. I mean,
Mhm.
even like the newest Creed movie, right? Michael B. Jordan was talking about how he took inspiration from some of the fights, like the Rock Lee fights and different things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you even have Israel, right?
Yeah.
He was a UFC champion. He just lost recently, but he literally begins every match
Yes.
unlocking.
Yup.
I was like, he's unlocking the 8 gates, And I
Yeah.
was like, geez.
Yeah. I would for sure put it on S tier.
Yeah. I
Well-
mean, there's some plot holes and there's a lot of like filler, but when you have an anime that's run that long, I mean, how could you not? And I don't think those things take away from it as a whole.
And I also just think, like, it has such emotional high points.
Yes.
Yes.
Like whether it's because like it starts off with Naruto, right? And then the only person that actually cared about him, ramen guy.
Yep.
Did they ever
Yep.
tell us what his name was?
I would just assume it's Ichiro.
Yeah. So we go from him to all of a sudden having his teacher. I always forget his name.
Oh,
in like,
Iruka?
yeah, Iruka. There you
Yeah.
go. Iruka, where he was willing to die for Naruto,
Yeah.
even though the Nine Tails killed his parents.
Ugh,
Right.
that's not
To-
his fault though. You can't say even though.
I mean,
No,
the
no.
Nine Tails killed it killed
Yeah,
Naruto's
yeah,
parents.
Yeah.
yeah. But it went from the whole village hating him, right, to when we got to finally grasp that moment where
Yeah.
after the whole pain arc, where he was just, it was a very heartfelt moment.
Yeah.
And
He got
when he
welcomed.
asked him to be his dad
Oh.
at his wedding.
Mm.
I cried.
Oh man. Yeah.
But did you also get the feeling that maybe the writer of Naruto had a general idea of what he wanted to do, but not the details? Because I felt like Naruto, for such a heavy hitter, had some big plot holes.
Yeah, well, you actually even see Minato in like the early episodes of Naruto, like walking the halls of the school. I don't know if my mind's playing tricks on me, and that's the anime or it was in the manga, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you actually see that are plot holes like that. So I think you're definitely right. Now, how much of it? I think he did a really good job of like taking some things where people were villains and then giving them a great backstory, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Pain.
Yeah, like Pain
Yep.
was Itachi really supposed to have a redemption, or was he just supposed
Yeah.
to, so
Well, I know the
these
series originally
things.
was supposed to end with Madara being the villain.
yeah.
Yeah. And also that Black Zetsu scene. Did it just feel like maybe
Forced.
because he got too powerful and they were like, oh, no one's going to be able to kill him, so let's just have Black Zetsu stab him from behind?
Yeah.
Well, because it was supposed to end with Madara.
yeah.
And then I think it was Kodansha, the people that own the series, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are the ones that kind of told them, hey, make it go
Kaguya
longer.
arc, yeah.
Yeah, make it go longer. And that's kind of what we got.
Yeah. And it was upsetting because you had Madara, who was a great villain, and then
Phenomenal.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Kaguya arc that followed it. I mean, you had the whole, Jiraiya getting like, Jiraiya, do you see this? Naruto's using the reverse harem jutsu and it might save the world. You had like a lot of those funny scenes, but she for being as much of a like god as she was,
Yeah.
like Madara could have taken her out if
Mhm.
he really had it,
Yeah.
So
And then for him to have just been stabbed from behind, it just,
It's like a surprise feat.
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a cop out. I mean, first of all, how fast was Black Zetsu really, right? Because Madara, isn't he supposed to be so fast that, like, he should be able to see it coming if it was just a regular stab?
Yeah,
Or
and
even just a really fast stab. He should have
Yeah.
seen it coming.
Yeah, I know, and that like that's the thing. Like, so people attribute it to oh, it's a surprise, but I'm like, that's such a cop out to
It
say
is.
that. Oh, it's because he didn't see it coming. So obviously,
Yeah.
he was able to get hit by Black Zetsu, which he's like the weakest member of the Akatsuki at
Yeah.
that point.
And realistically, isn't every attack a surprise because you never know like what your opponent is gonna do unless you have a
Except with
Sharingan?
Madara when he drops a comment on you.
I
Yeah.
mean, except
yeah.
except when Tenten does literally anything.
Anything.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she's
poor
so
Tenten.
fast. How could
Oh,
you see
yeah,
her?
she is the fastest character in
Yeah,
Naruto.
because we never see
confirmed.
her.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think the
Sorry.
funniest like fact about Naruto is that Tonton the pig has more screen time than
Dude,
Tenten,
Yeah.
which
The
is so
swing,
sad.
the swing in the opening scene has more screen time than Tenten. So,
Yeah,
but that swing had some heartfelt moments.
it had a lot more heartfelt moments than
Tenten.
Tenten for
Yep.
sure. So yeah, that definitely has to be my number one of like shonen animes for me.
What was your favorite arc in that anime then?
Gosh, that's a really hard one. I think it might have to be the pain arc, which I know is like a really cop out, but there's so many good things in that arc. Like that has to be the best entrance in all of anime history, right? Like
Yeah.
Naruto just coming in with all the toads.
Yep.
Like what a boss scene.
Yeah.
That scene was incredible. You have Naruto finally becoming recognized. Like if it had ended there, it would have even still been a great anime. Like of course there was a lot more that had to be done, but like it was fitting of being a perfect arc. I mean, you had Konohamaru destroying a pain by himself, like, and Kakashi. That I mean, there was so many great things.
Kakashi's
Yeah.
death, dude, that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I mean, it was
using the
short.
Amaterasu one last time.
Yeah. No, but in like the whole pain arc, right? That's a lot of people's favorite. My favorite part of the pain arc is that we finally get to see how powerful Jiraiya actually
Oh
was.
my goodness.
Yes. That was
Bodied
amazing.
people.
Yeah, I mean he essentially took on three. Was it three? He killed three of the pains.
He killed 3 of the pains, single-handedly defeated Konan, which,
Yeah.
if you remember, if it weren't for what was it, Izanagi,
Yeah,
would have killed
Obito.
Obito,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and so like with Jiraiya with no information was
Yeah.
able to take out
Yeah.
the leader. Like he's other than maybe Toby, right? Is the most powerful Akatsuki member
Yeah.
by far
Yeah.
by himself. Which
Yeah,
is
I mean, I think he was more powerful than Obito, right? Because like
I-
he essentially let himself die.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, so it's one of those things where he probably would have been the strongest, and it's a shame that he didn't get he was kind of led in the wrong direction.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, everything about Jiraiya's fight was incredible, and I think Pain even said, had he known the secret even just a little bit sooner, he probably would have lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had one of the most powerful genjutsus.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
And I think that's like the first time you actually see, what was it, Pa and Ma actually like,
Do something like cool.
Ugh.
yeah, everything was great about that fight. It's a little bit of a long fight, but incredible. Like I didn't care that it was long.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, you say it was like a cop out answer, but there's a reason why it's everyone's favorite. It's just wonderfully done.
Yeah.
Yeah, from start to finish,
Yeah.
I agree.
all the way to Jiraiya's death.
Yep.
Which
Rip.
Yeah.
which hurt for like the next like
2
10
weeks.
It
episodes.
still
Dude.
hurts. Honestly, it still
That
hurts.
popsicle scene still gets me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or the scene where they're running through the trees and his like ghost hand comes and
Yeah.
taps Naruto.
Oh,
Love
he
me some
feels it.
ghosts.
yeah,
Oh,
that hurt.
In
yeah.
anime, when the characters die, they always have the ghost hand.
Yeah, but
All right, are you ready for my basic ass answer?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, I truly, truly mean this. And I know it's unfair of me to put this at number 1, considering it only has 1 season. But I love Jujutsu Kaisen. I love it. It's great from the beginning. You don't need time to get into it, which a lot of animes do. It's
Yeah.
fast paced. It's good power scaling. They're not OP right from the beginning or anything like that. If you know about the manga, they actually set up a lot of things in the beginning.
Yeah.
Where it's gonna, once you know them later on and you reference them, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like they did say that. So he's planned out how he wants this to go. And one thing that he said earlier this year was actually that this is going to be the final year of Jujutsu Kaisen, the manga.
Already?
As in, he is planning to finish the manga this year. So he is not falling trap to, the money play
Yeah.
where he feels like he needs to go for much longer because of the success that he's seeing, which I very much appreciate. And I think that based on what I know from the manga as well, season 2 is going to be equally as good. And I know everyone's obsessed with Gojo. I am too, because I mean, like, what's there not to love?
Daddy.
Oh, such a daddy. But I personally am a big Itadori fan. Huge Itadori fan. Like, I love me a guy that's really athletic and slightly dumb, but not like just used for comedic effect. Like, has depth of character. And that's something for all of the characters. They all have really great depth. And Nobara, like, the last episode you were talking about how much you love a strong girl character. Nobara is a boss.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, the way that she stabs herself with her own nail and just plays this, like, teetering death game with the cursed children. Like, I was blown away.
Yeah, I think Nobara has to be my absolute favorite.
Your best girl for the anime?
Best girl. And it's really sad because you had Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 come out, right? And you see everyone and you're like, yeah, Nobara is best girl. And then you had Jujutsu Kaisen 0 come out, and then you're like, wait, Maki used to like look so much better.
Oh, mommy's coming back, Tyler. Don't you
no,
worry. No, Mama's coming back.
I'll say
I've heard it
like
before.
Maki's my best girl.
Yeah, she'll blow you away.
I know
for
in terms
sure.
of what she can do.
No, you don't. You don't know anything. She is.
You know nothing.
You know nothing.
I mean, yeah, I guess so, but yeah, I would say Nobara has to be my favorite character in that show. I just love how she's not just someone who is like a tsundere but then needs saving every single time. Like, she's going to back it up.
Yeah, she'll save herself.
Yeah, and she really doesn't need anyone else.
And at least if she needs help, it's actually like, oh crap, this is a threat.
Yeah.
It's never just like, you couldn't have done that by yourself.
Yeah.
Really?
And especially in a team of 3 people, right, where there's 2 guys and 1 girl. Where have we seen that before? The girl is always like so weak, but I really like how season 1 ended, where they were like, oh, we want both Itadori, Nobara, and Megumi to be promoted to, what was it, A tier? Sorcerer?
S, right?
I think it's A tier.
Is it A?
Either way. Yeah. But they kind of all recognize that she's a strong character, capable, just as capable as the boys at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the one really, like, I guess it's a good part about it because, like, there's conflict, but I really hate it, and it's unfortunate, is, like, people like Maki are stronger than, like, their class they're in, but, like, just because of, like, some political...
Ooh, they are setting us up for something good.
Yeah. I know, but it's, like, it's really upsetting because, like, she should be much. Yeah,
we should see it, actually.
You think in season 2? I think we're going to spend a long time on the Gojo backstory in season 2. I don't know if we're going to get that far. Yeah.
So season 3?
I don't even know how far into the Shibuya train station we're going to get in season 2, if I'm being honest.
I thought that was going to be like the whole thing.
No, we're going to get, I think we're going to get a long backstory just based on the fact that we got the trailer and it's about the backstory. Like, they didn't even touch the aftermath.
Gojo's backstory is actually really sad.
But it's good.
Yeah, I know, it's good. It's good.
It's good.
But see, my favorite part of Jujutsu Kaisen first season, total with Black Flash.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
The
love
self-proclaimed
it.
300 IQ.
Yes.
Or something like that. Yeah.
And then in the like milliseconds, he has this whole conversation with
his best friend.
His best friend. And then what was that name of that idol that he loves?
Oh, I don't
remember, but like
Yeah.
his dialogue with her, and
Yeah.
she rejects him, and his best friend is there to like not really console him, but he
Yeah.
still thinks of him as his best friend.
Yeah.
Incredible. And this comes from a guy that like literally was beating someone else up like a second ago.
And people have complained about Jujutsu Kaisen, but I feel like every complaint that I've heard at least is, oh, it's overhyped. Well, why do you think it's overhyped? What part of it do you think is bad per se? And I've never heard anything good to back up that claim.
I think a lot of reasons is like people are like, oh, well, it doesn't have like too many emotional things in it right now. And I'm like,
It's
okay,
season 1, homie.
it's
Yeah.
season 1, but also does it need it? Like it didn't. I thought it carried itself with the
and
fight scenes in itself.
But I also feel like there is a lot of emotional like traumas.
Yeah.
The whole fact that the
Yeah.
only way you can see these things is if, oh, you've had a near-death experience with these curses. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll let you see them.
But I would argue that there was a lot of emotion just based on, that
No,
friend that
not
he
the
makes.
Mahito
Oh.
arc.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that was rough.
friend.
That
and
was
the
rough.
fact that he's in the intro
I-
having fun with all the other sorcerers, that was a red herring. I love, and that put on my emotions just as much as when, if you remember later, Sukuna is telling Itadori, like, hey, it's all your fault, right? It's because of you that his stepsister, I don't know, some kind of weird incestuous thing going on there. When Toto, sorry, just a random side note, when Toto was like, oh yeah, what's your ideal girl? And then Megumi is thinking of his ideal girl and he describes and pictures his sister. That was weird, yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They grew up together since they were like
mean,
little.
It was weird, but like
But
you
they're
see the sister.
Yeah. I mean, but they're not blood. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's so weird.
Yeah, no, it was.
Hot take.
was a
Is that a hot take? I don't know. But when Sukuna is telling Itadori, like, hey, it's your fault that his sister became like this. That also is trauma. That's also emotion. And the fact that Itadori was like very torn up about it because he understands that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I just think like that's why a lot of people were trying to go at it like, oh, well, it's just so action based. Like, where's it's like there's a lot of story to it.
I'm just saying episode 19 when we could see purple for the first time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, when people say that too, I'm always like, if you understand like the power system that's actually in play, like how the curses actually work, it's actually really in depth. It's actually, I'm impressed with how much work they put into making a power system that works for the world. No one, I mean, other than like Gojo is like really OP, but even then, you still have someone that
There's
can
a counterbalance
like,
to it.
There
Yeah.
is.
There's
There is
always a
actually a counter
counterbalance.
to
Yeah.
Gojo. So he put a lot of work in, and he actually hints at the counter to Gojo very early on in the season 1. People are not going to know until probably season 3 or 4 minimum, probably.
Probably 4, I would assume.
But they do a lot of world building, a lot
Yeah.
of planning, and that was one of the biggest gripes I had with Naruto, that he was like, not me. I will perfect it. And I think they did. So far, season 1. We can't say.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
My favorite of all, well, I mean, I'm wearing him. would
Sorry,
be
what side character is that?
Is that
look,
Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh
after he collects
my
all the rings?
no, look, it's Dragon Ball Z. All right.
Let me see. Oh yeah, that is Goku. Gohan.
Ouch.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna get canceled by all the Dragon Ball Z lovers.
Like, I'm just saying, there's no other anime on the planet that has left a bigger impact on Western culture than Dragon Ball Z.
Have you watched Cory in the House?
Is that an anime? Yeah, no, I just mean like how many rappers, rock stars, you see it in memes, you see it on everywhere. Someone going Super Saiyan. They'll say, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Super Saiyan. I'm gonna go do this. It's over 9,000. It's
Well,
whatever it is."
I don't think there's like a single culture that Dragon Ball Z doesn't reach, right? I
Yeah.
think by now, like you talk to pretty much anyone of any age, and they'll know what you're talking about. You know, they may not know the story, they may not, have watched it, but you show them like Super Saiyan or Kamehameha, like
They're gonna know what that is.
they know,
Yeah.
they know what it is.
Yeah, and it's one of those shows that I know a lot of people say it hasn't aged well. Even though originally animated like in the 80s,
Yeah.
into the 90s, it's like, well, what do you expect?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like no anime from the 80s has aged well.
Saint Seiya. But I know. But
Yeah.
before your time, Jess. No, but I would say Dragon Ball Z for me has left such a big impact. I mean, you had let's see, I was like 6 years old the first time I saw, Raditz and Goku fighting. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And then all of a sudden we get to the Saiyan arc where Vegeta gets introduced, and you just see a bunch of shredded dudes training, fighting, eating, and repeat, and well, so I started doing those push-ups and those sit-ups and eating rice.
That's the most important part. Is
Yeah.
eating rice.
Chopsticks? Crazy.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's actually when I started using chopsticks. Yeah, because I'm like, by the way, trying to eat rice with chopsticks for the first time, hardest thing ever. I tried doing it with 2 hands, and I'm like trying to figure it. Yeah,
Well, you
Especially because
also-
you're Mexican, so you
Yeah.
have loose rice. You don't have sticky rice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's extra hard.
You know what? My mom gave me the weirdest look when I was like, "Mom, can you make rice like that?"
Ooh. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's-
and I just think from how long it's ran, I don't think there's been another like anime that's left a bigger impact.
yeah.
And
I
honest,
agree.
and I also don't think if it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z, I don't think anime would be at where it's at today in the US.
I agree, especially because just based on the number of mangakas that they inspired,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
is definitely true. Now, the thing that people often say is all these bad things about Dragon Ball Z, right? That why it hasn't aged well. The fights are too long. The dialogue is kind of like weak in some areas. It's, the voice acting is kind of whack in some places. But at the same time, it's those same things that people bag on that defined anime tropes, right? Where we have those long fight
Yeah.
scenes that has inner dialogue more than the actual fight. So yeah, it's only become a meme because of how popular it became. But really, that's the reason why it's a meme now is because of what it was able to do and accomplish with all those quote unquote faults. It's just a different time. Like if you go back and watch any movie from the 80s, like most people today would find it too boring, right? There's too much exposition. There's, you're not in the action or in the, rising action from the very beginning. Sometimes there is a lot of exposition, and that's what Dragon Ball Z had, which people don't like.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that it officially ended like 2004, I think,
Mhm.
and then obviously it continued with it being dubbed and stuff. But it came back in 2013 with the movie, and the fact that how popular it still was with Battle of Gods,
Yeah.
came back with Super in 2015, and it just keeps growing in popularity.
Yeah.
With obviously more of the older fan base.
Now,
But
Yeah.
what I'll say is, although it may not have aged well in some degrees, from an animation standpoint, yeah, there's some things that didn't age well. But in terms of character design, it might be one of the actual animes from that past that if they just recolored it, or when they recolored it,
yeah,
it's still held up, right? Yeah, of course, there's going to be pixelation issues if you go back to the old time, but
because it was
Yeah.
720p.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but
Well, to be devil's advocate, something that I've heard is not so great about Dragon Ball Z, and I'm incurring his fury. I
What?
can feel the heat radiating. Is that the story is very repetitive. It's just the same plot with different
just
Dragon
reskinned.
Balls over and
Yeah.
over again, and it's just a bunch of reviving and
So I would say up until the Cell Saga, that probably be true.
Okay.
Because like
But how many seasons are there before the Cell Saga?
no, like I mean, like it was all original up until the Cell Saga, and then after that it started to get reskinned.
So how many seasons are there after?
So they go by sagas, but
sagas.
but it's so right after that you have the Boo Saga,
Okay.
and then you have the Gods Saga, unless you count GT, which I don't. But you know,
Why don't you count it?
because it wasn't because Toriyama didn't work on it, so therefore it's not canon,
Oh, okay.
and it
fair.
sucked.
Yeah.
Like bad. So you have the God Saga, and then you got the Frieza coming back saga, so like the Resurrection Saga, and then you got the Tournament of Power, and that's it.
That seems like a lot of sagas, which I'm assuming are multiple seasons long each.
Technically, one.
Each?
No, total.
Oh, technically, as in there's like a ton of episodes in
Yeah.
it. Okay.
I'm just saying, technically, it's like one season.
Yeah, it's
It
like
just
it's like
a lot of
Shippuden, like,
sagas,
it's
though.
all Shippuden.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all okay, that's a lot.
Yeah. I'm sure if you go on Crunchyroll now, because like they did that with Shippuden, where it's like if you go to Shippuden, like Crunchyroll has it broken down
Into like arcs,
Yeah.
right?
into like I don't even know if it's arcs or like seasons, but they've broken it up, and it's probably the same now with Dragon Ball. But yeah, so but yeah, that's how it kind of was back then, right? Like you didn't
Yeah.
have seasons, you had
Just,
you
yeah.
had the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like Dragon Ball Super, like premiered every week for I think it was like a year and a half
Yeah.
straight with no break.
Jeez.
Yep.
You know,
Are those animators okay?
yeah, they're
They're,
working on
they're
Dragon Ball
more
Z,
than
of
okay,
course.
yeah.
All right. Second favorite?
My second favorite, I'm gonna save my fan favorite for last, but my second favorite would have to be Kuroko no Basket.
Oof. I love
And
that.
I know there's a lot of sports animes that people love, and people are like, "Oh, the power scales in Kuroko are bad," and I get that, but I love how bad it is, and I love it for all the good and all the bad. I mean, talk about some of the coolest characters in sports animes. You have Aomine, you
Oof.
have Kisei,
Who's your favorite?
who's my favorite character?
Yeah.
Momoi.
Aomine for sure.
No,
I wonder why.
I think
Why I like Aomine or
Yeah.
why he likes Momoi?
You.
not
Tall, dark,
Yeah.
handsome, a little stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
pretty
know.
much everything about Itadori.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, cut my thread. Got
No,
it.
but my actual favorite of the guys would have to be Kisei, and the only reason I say that is he's the only person that actually wanted Kuroko the entire time. Everyone else was like, forget Kuroko, I can do all this by myself. He's like, Kuroko, come to my team. And he actively goes out of his way to try to recruit Kuroko. It's just that Kuroko just didn't really see him that much as a friend in the beginning.
Yeah.
But man, like I love, and the way it ended, is it cheesy? Yes. But do I love it? Yes. Like especially when they all get together for Kuroko's
last game.
birthday for one last
Yes.
game,
Yeah.
and then the movie.
The movie was
Oh,
the movie was top
Purple
tier.
Sword.
Yeah. Purple swords. Yeah, that was my favorite for sure.
I love how I don't even know how they came up with that name. They give us no context on
No.
that, and that's my favorite part.
Well, I mean, they had to go with something that was obscure as the Jabberwocks or whatever
yeah.
had to be. They were called like the Jabberwocks, right? I think so.
Were there?
I don't know. I could
Been
be
a while.
completely wrong, but I mean, the way Kisei enters the zone in that game,
Yeah.
he is the only reason they were in it. I mean, that was a great.
I mean, the fact he
anime.
was able to copy all of their talents was impressive.
Yeah. Now, I do have my issues with Kuroko. I think some of the powers are a little bit bad, but I can get past it.
Like
I
who?
mean, what if you just think about it as a fantasy anime? In that case, the powers are not bad.
Yeah, and I think it is like a power, like a fantasy anime. But like you said, like who? So the person that Kisei replaced,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, so Kisei, he copies moves, and that could just be because like you could chalk it up to like, oh, he's like a prodigy genius that like has the ability to see something and then replicate it on his own. But like he doesn't have the talents to like really do like the generation of miracles in the beginning, right? But like you could still say like, oh, well, he's just really good at like he's a fast learner, right? Because like he did that with every sport prior to basketball. And then you have the person that he replaced, who was Kisei, but instead of copying their moves, what he would do is copy their moves ever so slightly and make it his own, to the point where if someone else saw him use the move that they just used on him, they would completely forget how to do it.
Yeah, because he just tweaked it just a little bit.
Yeah, and then they forgot. Like, they're like, oh, shoot, like maybe how he did it's right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really didn't like that. I mean, the person that shoots 3-pointers, like that's a little bit
He was
ridiculous.
consistently downing half-court shots.
Even full-court shots.
Yeah,
that
was
I think the first one he ever made was a full-court shot, right? Like, or near full-court shot.
No, that was after halftime when they caught up. Remember, he was like, we've seen nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then wham.
Yeah. I mean, the only nerf to him is that it's just based on the day, and
Yeah.
whether or not his astrology's on point.
And if he has his lucky item, right?
Oh, and if he has, but that's all part of like his astrology, right? Like,
Yeah.
they come from the,
Interesting.
But, yeah, so those are
It's
my
a fun
gripes with
watch.
It is a fun watch.
What about the ankle breaker?
Ooh.
Oh, the Emperor Eye. Yeah. I mean, that whole team was busted though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the eagle eye guy too, because like out of nowhere he starts like poking out balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of the show is when Almine realizes that Kuroko, his basketball was right and he was the key to open the gate the whole time. And he starts crying, and he remembers how much of a best friend Kuroko was to him. Incredible.
What's that red hair? The main guy's name?
Which one?
The jumper.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Is Kagami?
Kagami, yes.
Yeah.
shows that we
Kagami,
don't pay attention to MCs.
the worst out of all of them, right?
agree.
I
Well,
felt nothing for him.
I felt like he was exactly what they needed for the show, though.
Yeah.
Like
Because he
he
was
came
portray-
off more as an antagonist.
You mean as an American?
Wow.
Yeah.
Hot
Where
take,
did
hot
this
take,
come
hot
from? Where did
take.
this come from?
No, I just mean because they were all like, oh, he's from like the pinnacle of where basketball was created,
Yep.
where basketball was like the best in the world, so he must be really good.
Yeah.
And then just so happens to get smashed on by like every member of the Generation of Miracles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like the passion that he shows is very much how like Japan sees America, right? We're very loud, right?
Mhm.
We're very
Angry.
angry. We're also very boastful and prideful, right?
Mhm.
And he kind of fits
Yeah.
all of those.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of
fair.
why I think he was needed for that like part, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As like the half American, half Japanese
I just
person.
didn't like him, I think.
His friend
That's
was
fair.
pretty cool
Yeah.
though. I liked his friend.
Yeah.
Wait, which?
Oh no,
friend?
sorry. His name was Taiga.
Taiga.
Yeah.
It was Taiga.
It was Taiga.
Who's Kagami?
I don't know.
Was Kagami the friend?
Maybe no. I don't remember what.
No, his name was Kagami.
No, it was
Maybe
Taiga.
it was Taiga Kagami. I don't know.
Was it Taiga? No,
I don't
it
know.
was Taiga because it was like a Oh my gosh.
I remember
I'm
his
gonna
friend
Google it.
saying like Taiga and him like being like, what? Who knows that name? So I don't know, because maybe you're right, but Chris will find out for us in a second.
Yeah. I will say though.
Oh. Taiga Kagami.
Oh, so I was right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
it
was
is Taiga.
both. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Whoops.
but yeah, I thought his friend was pretty cool.
Which
it-
one?
The one with like the
One from America, right?
yeah, the one from America, the other street baller.
I thought you were talking about his friend.
No, not that person. But
What was it like? Did they have like matching rings or something?
yeah, they had like matching like friendship rings.
Oh yeah.
Matching
yeah.
mood rings.
Yeah, the one that he
Yeah.
wore around his neck. Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, Jess, what's your second?
Since you said a sports anime, I'll hit you with my favorite sports anime, which is again, another basic ass answer, which is Blue Lock.
I think that's a fair answer, though.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Lock has broken all the tropes of normal sports animes. They said, I don't subscribe to your mentality. And they really went hard at it. Like, instead of everyone being like, teamwork is the real key. Kuroko, you were the door all along. It's like, no, the key is stomp on your own teammates. It's you and only you. Look out for numero uno. That's the message of this story.
As in, get devoured or be devoured.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I love it. I love every moment in which they stomp on their opponents, but I love even more than that when they stomp on their own teammates. I think those are so good. And the fact that they even call each other names during their own game.
Yeah.
But the best part about it is they don't do the classic soccer when you like kind of like accidentally brush against them and they're like, oh, my leg, you've broken my leg. You know, they don't do that. Instead, like, you know, people be straight up like pulling and punching.
Well, I mean,
and then
that
they'll
one
be
guy
like,
just tackled that one
Yeah.
person.
and they'll be like, that seems fine.
What's his name? The third best player, the one with like anxiety issues.
The one with anxiety.
Yeah, he like freaks out. He's like, I'm not doing.
Oh
my
yeah,
best."
yeah. I know exactly.
Yeah,
what
when he
you're
just
talking about.
tackles people, just move.
Yeah, that's not
Well,
allowed.
No, I was talking about. Remember when they were up against when Isagi's team was up against Nagi's team early on, and they're about to, and this guy was throwing the entire time,
Oh,
and then he's like, "Darn it! Like you guys, I don't know why my body's moving on my own."
yep.
And then he goes and just straight up tackles the guy.
Yeah, that was the only time we saw a yellow card come up.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted that guy to break. Like nothing I hate more than is like a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the worst guy. I mean, if we could do a Crunchyroll award for worst guy, I think it'd be him for sure.
sure.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Someone who deserves to die.
yeah. Well,
But-
I mean,
Oh, wow.
I mean,
he's a high school kid that
Yeah.
cheated in soccer. It's not that big of a deal, Chris.
Okay, just maybe a broken femur.
And
That's
for
fair.
me, like my favorite character is definitely not Isagi. It's Nagi, Bachira. Like there's a lot of heavy hitters in there,
Yeah.
but you really learn to appreciate Isagi. Like
Yeah.
he is so dedicated that he'll, you know, the whole like puzzle piece thing. Like at first I was like, what? But
I could
now I'm
actually
into
deal
it.
without the puzzle piece thing because I'm the same way as you. I didn't like it. Then I thought it wasn't bad. And then now it's like 5 times an episode where he just like disappears with puzzles and then comes
Yeah.
back with the puzzles. And I
Oh.
think it's a little bit too much.
But isn't it hot when Isagi when Isagi told Baro to like that he was a donkey? I was like, that's hot. But 2, every time that he's doing that and people try to talk to him and he literally says, "Shut up. Something good is coming." He just tells like even his friends, right?
Yeah.
Like even Nagi, who's on the same team as him at this point, like he'll tell him like, "Shut up."
Yeah,
Like,
because like
and-
that started episode 4 when he became more like assertive. I guess
Yeah,
you could put
I
it.
love that. Love that for him. Like he has some good moments.
Definitely.
No, I would have to agree. So would you see like Boro too?
Baro he's like a male tsundere, and it doesn't come off very well. Like he's so needy, he's so assertive, he's
He's the king.
He's the king.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And I don't love that for him, if I'm being honest. I was hoping that after his loss that he would not become like buddy, but he would become a more amicable character that can really help the team. But even as it is now, if they came up with like out of all of Blue Lock, right, their ideal team, I can't imagine him being on there as he is now. Like I get that his strategy is working on these 3v3s, these 5v5s, right, of devour your own teammates or whatever, right? But in reality, that's not sustainable, and I would never ever choose him to be on my team.
Well, in that case, would you choose like any of them to be on your team?
would
Yes,
choose
I
all of
would
them.
choose Isagi. I would choose Bachira.
I would choose
I would
Nagi.
choose Nagi
I think Nagi's about the only person I would choose to
Really?
actually be on my team.
Wow.
over like you.
Rio?
Yeah.
No,
No.
Rio honestly is just. They try to make him seem different than Isagi. he's just not as good as Isagi. I think.
Well, he has
opinion.
better like physical stats than Isagi. That's his, because he's faster than him. He's more agile than him. He can do more tricks than him. That's like the whole thing. Like Isagi is definitely smarter than him now, but
you can see the same thing about
he's,
Nagi.
like, yeah.
well, Nagi lacks in the thinking department. Very
Does he though?
severely.
Because he picks up on what everybody else is doing, and it's like, oh, you're gonna be right there. Okay, bam.
He picks up on it, but he doesn't foresee, which is what I think the biggest strengths of Isagi and Ryo is the fact that they can foresee what's going to happen based on
But how often does it work out for Isagi?
quite often, seeing as though people love
He's
him.
lost twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You know,
how much of that is because someone like Borrow's in his team?
no, they won because of Boro.
Well,
They did,
I'm
you're
just
right.
saying.
but they also almost lost because of Baro.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, anyone else on
I'm
that
just
team
saying.
except for Baro may
Yeah.
have actually allowed them to win faster.
Or lost.
Unpopular opinion, they should have taken the Borrow's counterpoint, you know, the guy that was like not really good at all.
Oh,
Oh, no.
No, you're talking about
No.
the bald-headed
You're
kid?
talking about the orange juice kid?
Yeah, the
Orange juice kid. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Why?
they should have purposely lost the game to get rid of him.
No, because
No.
they need Baro for the future development of the story.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
had to keep him in.
I'm just saying the one thing I hated about Blue Lock, I forget his name, that kid,
The bald guy.
bald guy, that he made it.
Yeah.
Like, why?
He's only there for
I'm
the
like,
comedic.
yeah.
I
yeah.
know, but I'm just like, he shouldn't be there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I actually think it would be. I don't need that comedic aspect.
Yeah, me
I
either.
don't need it.
It's like the one show, it's okay if it's serious all the time.
Yeah.
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 So yeah,
because
you're
like-
right. That's why Blue Lock is number 2. You know,
Number 2.
Jujutsu Kaisen's
Number-
numero uno. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
So I'm gonna say another oldie, a
Mm.
golden oldie. Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know. Have you seen that or heard of it before?
I've heard of it. Like
I've
the
seen
little,
it on your shirts.
I've heard is that the one with like the little finger gun?
Spirit gun. Okay.
It's a finger gun. I did like one thing that came out of Yu Yu Hakusho, which was the reference in Burn the Witch with the with the
Wow.
mentor using
Yeah.
the finger gun.
Well, I would say, do you guys enjoy tournament arcs?
No, I mean it depends on.
Really?
It
Yeah.
depends.
It really depends, but I find
Well,
that for
Jujutsu
the
Kaisen
most.
was a tournament arc.
Where? When?
When they're taking the exam, that's a tournament arc.
That's not a tournament. That's a literal one thing they did. And because
Yeah.
if they did continue and they also had the secondary one, which was supposed to be 1v1,
Yeah.
then I will accept it. But no, we just glazed over the second part. With
What about the
baseball
tuning
game.
exams?
Yeah, it was a tournament.
I
arc
would
for
say
that,
the
but
tuning exams was a
but-
tournament arc, but that wasn't like my favorite. Like my favorite parts of Naruto didn't come from the
Right.
tournament
Yeah.
arcs.
But so I'm saying, Yu Yu Hakusho is the one that started all of that, right?
well,
so-
they shouldn't have.
No, like literally, the Dark Tournament is probably one of the best written arcs of all time. Like as a show, Yu Yu Hakusho is probably one of the best written
Yeah.
shows of all time,
Okay.
and I'm willing to die on that hill
Wow.
Yeah.
Then why do you like Dragon Ball Z better?
because it had more of an impact for me growing
Okay.
up.
If you had to look at them objectively, which one would you
As a better show,
like? Which one would you recommend to someone that's starting off into anime?
well, assuming that they don't mind old animation,
Yes.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay,
Hmm.
that's interesting to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just because like it's every arc means something,
Mm.
right? And it follows so seamlessly up until like the very, very last arc. I would say everything was fully thought out, right? And he actually cared about every single member that he came across.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so it like if anyone out there hasn't seen Yu Yu Hakusho, it's on Hulu.
Okay.
But I would definitely recommend watching it, especially because like there aren't any like super big power ups.
Oh,
this,
that's nice.
There's no power of friendship. There's none of that.
Okay.
It's just I'm gonna kill you because I'm told to. Sorry, unalive you. Because the whole thing is that this kid is a detective,
Yeah.
and he's being told, if you want to get your body back, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the first episode, the main character dies.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
a revival. Like he's trying to get his revived,
Well,
right?
he gets it back, I think like 4 episodes in.
What?
But to get it, he has to prove that somebody loves him.
Oh, and
Yeah.
people don't love him. Didn't he have a friend that really cared for him?
He had a girl,
Yeah,
yeah. But to prove it, they would have to kiss him.
Oh.
and she just refused.
No, he's dead. How can he talk to her?
That's true. Because imagine trying to kiss a dead person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that
so
kinda
so
weird.
so what he does is like it was Inception before Inception was a thing. He entered her dream
Oh, okay.
and like started
Oh.
putting these thoughts, and then so she would. He has, I think it was like 10 days
Okay.
for this to happen. Otherwise, his body stays permanently dead. And
Oh.
because he did one good act, he was supposed to enter heaven, right? But they weren't expecting him to do anything good because he was a delinquent. All he did was get into fights all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And because he saved a kid from getting hit by a bus, they're like, "Oh, you're good. I guess you can enter heaven." Well, they weren't ready for him, so he was going to be stuck in limbo for all of eternity.
Ooh.
So he had a
So they
choice.
couldn't get ready for him. Be like, hey, give us a year.
No.
Interesting.
But he had a choice. He made it, and now is became the spirit detective. So he had to go fight all these. Yeah,
Spirit detective.
yeah. It's a spirit detective.
Those words just I didn't expect them
Like,
to come
what do you mean by
from
like
you,
detective?
yeah.
Like Detective Conan
No,
detective?
no,
or
no. I mean,
like-
I guess technically, if you want to think of it that way, but he essentially has to kill off demons that enter the human plane.
so nothing like Detective Conan.
Yeah, nothing like
he's just
detective
he's
is
not he's just a unalive spirit person.
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah,
he,
but
that doesn't
but
seem
see,
like a
but there's
detective
different
at all.
grades to all these
Yeah.
demons,
Oh.
and up until the Dark Tournament arc, like after it ends, you don't know that you think so. The main bad guy is Togoro,
Yeah.
and you think he's supposed to be like the top tier, and you find out he's only like mid,
Okay.
Ooh.
and that's what's
Don't we
that's what's
always?
frightening. But like Togoro was like frightening. Like the guy was so powerful the moment he unleashed his demon energy.
Yeah.
Anybody that was lower than like a C class demon died or unalived instantly.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I do think it's worth it if you don't mind older animation.
I do. I'm sorry. Outing
think-
myself right now.
I think for me, it's just one of those things where it's like nowadays there's so much anime that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Although
so
there's things I
many
want
are
to go back and
good.
watch. Yeah.
But
like,
see, I
it's-
also
it's
have to
hard
argue
go.
the fact that like there is a lot of stuff coming out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much of it's good? Actually good.
So
Not just good, like, oh, I'm kind of bored. This could fill some time.
can I say something? I'm the kind of person that likes trash.
He does.
Like-
It's fair enough, 'cause I like isekai trash
Yeah,
too.
like
he
I
likes osamake rom.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
trash.
okay.
Trash.
yeah, I can honestly enjoy most anime to some extent, and I'd probably rank more animes higher than they've been ranked on like
Any list
like
ever.
any like fan list or something like that. And so yeah,
Oh, well, if you're down to watch something that was okay, so like Hunter x Hunter, same person made Yu Yu Hakusho, but he came out Yu Yu Hakusho first, and then Hunter x Hunter. So
I don't know if I can say this, but Hunter x Hunter wasn't it for me.
how far did you get again?
I watched like 3 episodes.
Oh no,
No. Can I say something though? If 3 episodes go by and I can't even begin to see myself wanting to watch the show,
Yeah,
then it's like the point where by now there's too many animes where I'm not going to give something 10 episodes before it gets good.
Yes. I
But-
don't have that
but
kind
see-
of time to
but
waste.
see, I would have to argue the fact that like if you're building a world, right,
Yeah.
that has a power structure
Yeah.
that needs things to be vented out, so that way there's not all these plot holes that like just don't make any sense.
Jujutsu
it-
Kaisen, banger from #1.
I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
A
You gotta
power
understand
structure.
I'm a millennial too.
Yeah, but like you're a boomer millennial.
Yeah, you are.
So like I don't know. For me, I think I've been influenced by social media to where it's too hard to give things multiple. Like not I can
Yeah.
give things
But-
4 episodes max. I just didn't see myself getting there with Hunter x
Yeah,
Hunter.
so like with Hunter x Hunter, that's one that you have to kind of give it to when they get to the Hunter's exam,
Yeah.
which I think is episode like 8 or 9.
Okay.
and then that's when things actually like roll.
Does it, okay, when you say 8 or 9, is 8 and 9 good, or is 8 and 9 when it starts to get good? Because those are very different.
No, that's when the hunter exam starts. And like that's it. Like so essentially what you're building up, like one, you get introduced to Gon, right? And then it's gonna flow into like his journey to get to the hunter's exam, because you have to qualify to get to the hunter's exam. So you have to take these series of tests just to take the test, right? And like most of that is just to make sure, because people die in the hunter's exam.
Yeah.
And like, and you see that like the moment it starts, how many people start falling and like dying.
Yeah.
You know, and like so the whole hunter's exam is essentially introducing you to these people that are becoming hunters, whether it's for wealth, to get whatever the heck they wanted, right? Because when you become a hunter, that license is worth like being a country.
Oh, wow.
Right? No, because it gives you access to a black market. It gives you access to unlimited like funds. So if you go to the bank and you demand like $1 billion,
if you pass a government test,
it's not a government test.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? In what world do you get a license and then you can access the black market? Like that doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, no. Think of it as like a super high bounty hunter, like, but that has no limitations of what you can or can't do.
Yeah, I also watched some episodes, and I also thought, and I get what you're saying by like I gotta get to 8 or 9, and maybe when I get to a point where I'm like, there is no animes for me to watch or want to watch, and actually give the 3 episodes a try, then I might go back and watch till the 9 mark.
I'm just saying the season's kind of weak.
Yeah, but there's
it looks weak. We don't know that for sure.
True.
But there's also some animes that I want to go back and watch, like Cyberpunk. Like I'm much sooner gonna watch Cyberpunk.
That's fine. That's fair. I can see that.
Yeah.
All
right. So before I get into my last one, is a hot take. It's pronounced Hunter x Hunter.
Oh my
god. Let's go
into
our
Spy X family.
Spy family
mentions, Tyler.
So mine is even an honorable mention. It probably beats out the second one on my list. It might even, for a story perspective, beat out Naruto. It's just that Naruto means more to me. But it's Nurarihyon no Mago, which for me is one of the best animes ever written. Everything from the series to even the OVAs, they all pop off. It's a deep story, and for me, it has a little bit more of a personal connection, because the main character is essentially a quarter yokai, right? And he struggles with balancing, what does he really want to consider himself more, or what does he want to do more, be a yokai commander or be a regular person. But he also struggles with backlash where regular people, if they knew he was a yokai, wouldn't really accept him. And for the yokai, they don't really accept him as a commander because he's only a quarter blood yokai. Now he has 2 split personalities, and that's a little bit different. But, for someone that is like super mixed race and like growing up and like not really seeing people that, I could ever, say like, oh, there's someone that's the exact same race as me, because like I'm like 3 different things. I think that kind of touched on like a personal level.
Yeah.
So like for me, I really, really enjoyed the series because it did like touch on a lot of topics where it's like, yeah, like you really will never be accepted anywhere fully, but you learn to like, that's not the problem. You just have to go and do, what you want to do and what you feel like is best for you. So I really liked it. And it's one of those things where if you want to talk about daddies in anime, like one of the best looking characters of all time, the original Nurarihyon, the grandpa, like when he his tattoos are absolutely amazing. His Yakuza tattoos, like it has everything you want as a kid, right? It's got yokai, it's got Yakuza, it's got fighting, it's got the amnioji, it's got everything you want.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is I agree that they are some daddies. All of them. But they basically have like this hair that kind of like swooshes like that. Like, kind of like a C-ish shape. And it's hot because, it's anime. You don't really think about the way that gravity
physics,
works.
Yeah.
But I learned that there's actually head under there. So it's not their hair that's shaped like that, it's their head. And that actually takes away so many points. And every time I look at them, I have to force myself to forget the fact that there is skin and skull under that hair shape.
I think that was only the grandpa though, because the dad I don't think had that issue, and I don't think it's not necessarily all. It's not all head because it's very long hair, and it's only about like. It's like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull kind of looking head, you know. It's not that. Well, it is pretty bad, but
the grandpa's only looks like shrunken because he's old. But I think in his former self, it did used to be like that.
I like to pretend that it was always just that short. We can
pretend. That's fine.
Also, the reasons why you named off why you like it, reasons why you like Yu Yu Hakusho. But anyways, but I do have to agree. I do love. I love that series.
Yeah.
Because
so
like
good.
even though I watched them in reverse order and I didn't know that
I did too.
Yeah, when I first watched it, when I first turned it on, I was like, I don't really understand this, but then I picked up like, okay, no, I get it now.
Yeah,
and I thought it was just me being dumb. I'm like, no, I mean I was being dumb because I watched it out of order.
Yeah,
but it was a phenomenal series.
Yeah. Can we all agree that the grandpa was the hottest, then the dad, then the youngest?
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's almost like he lost hotness as the generations went on.
Yeah, I mean, I could watch the grandpa and the grandma's arc over and over and over and over again. Like, it's like the best, like 2 or 3 episode arc.
Yeah.
Like, for me in, like, anime. I just think it's so fun.
The dad one is hard to watch just because of how depressing it is.
Yeah. Well, the OVA is a little bit better because you don't get into the depressing part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the eventually bad person that regains her memories. Yeah, it's a really depressing, I guess, twist to it. But it was really well done, and that's what I appreciated about it.
Yeah, and a lot of the ones that we've named so far, and animes wise, have been big ones. But I feel like that one's one where a lot of times when I recommend it to people, they've never even heard of it.
Yeah,
very under the radar.
I think it was under like in that like time frame where, you know, anime really wasn't that big yet.
What year did that come out? Do you remember?
Who's to say?
Yeah, I want to say like around like Shippuden time.
Yeah, I think I want to say that came out like 2011.
Yeah,
which would have been the same time as like Hunter x Hunter.
Shippuden.
Yeah, so it would have been like Shippuden.
A lot of the heavy hitters.
Fate Unlimited Blade Works. So yeah, you have like a lot of big stuff that came out that same year.
Yeah, but I would definitely recommend if someone hasn't watched it, give it a try. Maybe do watch it in reverse.
Yeah.
Because the beginning episodes there is like a lot of build up to eventually what most people probably did watch as, because you probably started watching from like, I think it goes Nurarihyon no Mago, but then like the part that you started is like Nira Rise of the Yokai Clan.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly
which
what I started
is a
with.
really good it's like a really good like rest of the arc. So yeah, I would say even you could start off there. You could be a little bit confused in the beginning, but it really quickly clears up.
I think I was only confused for like episode 1.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, this is actually really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since I named a lot of very, very new one-season animes so far, my honorable mention is going to go to a heavy hitter, which is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Let's be clear, we don't love that first ending. Honestly, Brotherhood is such a gift to the fan base. The fact that they realized that we all hated it and came back to us with something that was actually true to the manga, very, very surprising in a good way.
Yeah, like the original Sonic the Hedgehog movie decision.
And their world their world is very well built, the whole law of equivalent exchange, right? Like, that's to me very interesting and very new. It hasn't been done. It's not just like, oh, I have magic, how do I use it? I can make fire, I can make water. It's very,
Well, would you consider it magic?
You need an alchemy circle, so I would consider it magic.
I mean, it's alchemy, right?
It's
like
alchemy.
It's like science.
Yeah, it's a form of science.
Well,
right?
there's also the god that you meet when you go through the gate.
There's also the sins.
We don't actually meet them, though.
We don't, but they do. Like, I don't know what you're saying. Like,
maybe it was just a powerful hallucinogen
that affected both of them, and they both saw the same thing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And
Yeah,
it gave him a magical power where he doesn't have to draw an alchemy circle. He can just.
but they all don't need it, as we found out.
But that's like if you know the truth.
No, but the people from the East, they don't use the alchemy for the same way as they did.
Well, either way, I still think it's magic. I mean, if you can draw me a circle right now and change something into something completely different, but equivalent exchange, then I'll concede that it's not magic.
Cool. Tiff, can you help me?
Yeah.
Having our editor help you is not the move, Chris.
But it could be.
Yeah, but it could
Yeah.
be.
Can I say something that's probably gonna get me a lot of like flack from the community?
Don't say it.
No, wait. Are you gonna? Okay.
So, as far as the anime goes, I watched a few episodes. It's not that I stopped watching because I didn't like it. It's one of those things like I think I just got caught up in a different anime, but I did watch the live action
Oh, no.
on Netflix. And can I say, I know this is a really hot take, but as far as anime live actions go, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
So basically, you missed all the good parts. Only watched
No,
pretty much that dog girl hybrid, and then you were
RIP.
like, "Yeah, not bad."
What parts did I miss? I can recap it all right now. Oh, here's a guy who loses a brother.
He didn't lose his brother.
No,
He
he
didn't lose
no,
his
he doesn't
brother.
lose his brother. Okay, but
Why-
he
wait,
did
wait,
lose his
how did
brother's
he
body.
How did he lose it?
He was like trying to like do a spell.
But
Right.
like, but for
For
what?
what?
I don't know, but they did go over it. And there was
You missed
there was
all
there
the
was
best
there was
parts.
clothing flying everywhere. And
They were trying to resurrect their mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And do we even in the movie get any of the
Homunculi?
sins?
yes, you
Yeah.
do. You do
Do
get them.
we?
Yeah. You do. You even get the fight with
With lust.
what?
With lust?
Yeah, the fire
Wait,
fight.
do we get the revenge scene?
Yeah. Where he just keeps burning her.
Maybe he's right. Maybe the movie.
The
does
movie
go
is
over
perfect.
everything.
No, you know what? Okay, so from what I can remember from the movie, it literally hit every arc, with no depth.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, I guess because how long was the movie? Like 2 hours?
Oh, yeah.
How can you cram it? Because I think
it's a long series.
it's like 160 episodes.
I couldn't say.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that long.
I
if I'm
think
being
I think I
honest.
felt
think it
everything
is.
that all the anime watchers
No.
did.
Bro,
Yeah.
no. Like, when I saw Mustang get that revenge,
Mhm.
I've never felt so justified in my entire life.
Yeah.
So did I.
You like you,
No,
no, you don't.
no.
You don't.
Look, okay, like how did you feel watching Daria, whatever, how the heck you pronounce his name, die?
I was like, man, I can't wait till this lady gets burned.
Oh my gosh.
No,
I can't be blamed for not having watched like some older animes.
Yes, you
No,
can.
it's not that we're blaming you for not watching
I
the
am.
anime. We're blaming you for saying you pretty much watched the anime just because you watched a live action movie of
But
it.
even you guys say like it went over all the arcs.
No, that's like saying you watched Death Note, but it was live action.
I actually didn't watch the live action one.
Good, don't.
Yeah.
I heard that one's bad.
You don't need it, you're
I
right.
wasted like an hour and a half of my life.
Really. I don't. But
I'll
the thing
never
is,
get
like,
it back. ever.
So you did watch the Death Note one. I mean, not the Death Note. The Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood
Yeah.
one, though, right?
Yeah.
For live action, that's as good of an live action anime adaptation you're gonna get.
For
Can we
that
agree on
style, yeah. I mean, I guess because like there's so many live actions that they
Yeah.
could do that would have
Yeah, like
An
the
easy-
Cowboy Bebop
No, oh my-
resurrection.
which I don't know how they messed that up.
So, quick question:
Mhm.
who's asking for this? Who's asking for these live action?
I think what they
movies?
see
The
is
studios.
that anime is like really
What?
popular.
The studios.
Yeah. I think like you have to understand that like a lot of these animes that they are bringing back to live action are older animes. So rather than recreating new ones, I think like Netflix is just like, why don't we just go and pump out some live action so that way it's new content.
You know what they could do? Do live action Gundam. We got Pacific Rim already.
I was gonna say
Just-
we don't need
Yeah, I
it.
was
There's
gonna say we
specific
already got it.
Just make it into a series, and then maybe Netflix will leave anime alone for a hot minute.
I think there was a so here's the weird thing is everything that is a good live action gets a really like from Netflix gets a really bad animated adaptation, and everything that was originally a good animation, like whether it's anime or something else, gets a live action and ends up being terrible. So I mean, I think the story is like you just always stay in your medium.
Yeah.
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 Don't try anything new at home ever.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Stay in your little box and just
Yeah.
stay there forever.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
All right, Chris, finish us off with your honorable mention.
So I wouldn't necessarily say this is like in my top, but I feel like I needed to give it some recognition because like I wanted season 3, Magi. I don't know if have either of you watched that one?
I've read it.
You've read Magi?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I didn't get very far, and it was a long time ago. It's about the little kid sorcerer and then like a bunch of girls, right?
Girls?
Are they not girls?
No.
Then I don't know. Is he not a teacher? What am I thinking of?
Slime?
I don't know. I thought it was like a little kid who's like really good at magic. Maybe is a teacher at an academy, but I don't know.
I don't even know what you could be thinking of.
I don't know. If someone knows, can they leave it in the comments?
No, it's. I mean, you're right about the little kid, because he's essentially a reincarnation, like the son of Solomon, like the King Solomon.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about jinns. So he essentially created Magis and like jinns, and jinns, just like genies, grant wishes. But instead of granting wishes, these things grant power, right? And with it, it's like with one dungeon, you conquer one dungeon, you get one genie. You have enough to essentially create your own country. So you have all these people who try to go through a dungeon. All of them die, except for like a handful of people, right? And like I like it because it touches on a lot of like sensitive subjects that people don't necessarily like to talk about. From step one, like you beat this guy, his name is Alibaba, right? I know the name. I know.
Jack Ma? Is he the writer?
Yeah. It was all a ploy.
AI, Alibaba Intelligence?
But his name is Alibaba, and he essentially conquers a dungeon, and he gets a fire djinn. So he's able to essentially summon fire from his blade. But the only way for you to essentially get the djinn into an item, the item has to have some personal attachment to you. And once it's broken, unless you have another personal attachment, it's gone. So, but it's a series that it's comedic, but it has a lot of like really dark undertones that talks about like slavery and like other things. But I think it's phenomenally animated. And the whole point is either you get to choose between you want true free will or do you want to be controlled.
Okay.
And then you have a group of faction of people that just want that in between.
Yeah, I didn't read this.
Yeah. You know what I would say is really, I would say, weird for people that are going to try and look up Magi after this is every place that I've seen Magi show up, because there's so many, like they're all titled different things.
Yeah.
It's really weird because you don't know what order you're supposed to watch it in.
So I would say Magi, the Magic Labyrinth is the first one.
Okay.
Because that's the introduction. Oh, okay. Let me back up. So Netflix did All of Us 30, and they put out new Magi right after the second season. It was a prequel. Yeah. Did All of Us 30, right? And it was about Sinbad. And Sinbad essentially is like that world's Gojo. Okay? He's like the super OP guy.
Thank you for putting in terms I can understand.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Is he also a daddy?
Yeah, actually. This dude is shredded.
So true Gojo.
The true Gojo.
Wow, okay.
You can see abs. He's got like his 12 pack at this point, I think.
That's kind of gross. Once you pass a certain numbers, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's OP because he's loved by Magoi, which is like cursed energy, right?
Okay.
So the more that you're loved by Magoi, the more power that you have. But then there's pure Magoi, which isn't strong by itself, which is why you want to connect it with a Jin, which is how you're able to summon fire, or like whatever else. This guy's conquered 7 dungeons, which means he has a power of 7
Wow.
of 7 Jins, right? So he's just stupidly OP. And like, so the prequel is him as you get to see his birth, how he became Sinbad, how he created his own country, and in the span of his lifetime, by I think he's like 28 when we actually get introduced to him and Magi, that he not only does he have his own country, but he's on the same power level, if not feared more than the two largest empires to exist, right? And he essentially went to all these countries by himself that were isolated, that people were either afraid to travel to or didn't want to do any trades with, because whether it was political reasons, cultural reasons, whatever, he went to these places and was like, look, let me help you, and we can create something great, and created the Seven Seas Alliance. And it was phenomenal. And then so from there, then you do Magi, the Magic Labyrinth, and I always forget it's Magi something and the Magic School.
Okay. What I seem to like about what you're saying so far is like I really enjoy like historical texts or like older texts. So the fact that they're bringing in like historical figures like Solomon, the fact that Sinbad like created the seven seas and like conquered seven dungeons, which is like the original Sinbad and the seven seas.
Yep.
It seems like that would be like right up my alley. But I fell into that thing where there was so many different Magis where I was like gonna watch it, and then I was like, where do I start?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with Fate, right? I love Fate.
Yeah, Fate's also like that.
Yeah, right, just all these timelines and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I understand why people get kind of turned off by it, but it's if you guys are gonna watch it, I would say, okay, Magi and the Magic Labyrinth, and then the Magi and the Magic School. And if you want to watch Sinbad, you don't necessarily need to watch it before or after. It's just a fun series.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, Jess, you should give it a shot.
I have so many animes on my list.
One day.
I'll add it to the very, very long list. But you know what I won't add? Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, wait. You know what? I'd sooner add Yu Yu Hakusho than Dragon Ball Z.
What about Hunter x Hunter?
I've already tried it.
3 episodes is not trying.
So would you try
Once I finish my whole list of all the animes that I need to watch, including Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho, again, I'm only giving them 3 episodes before I figure out if I'm going to continue or not.
Dang.
Then I will go to Hunter x Hunter and go to episode 9 like you're claiming.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And with that, that is the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and a subscribe. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.